We ended the last episode with a victory for the people. But hidden inside that victory was a fatal flaw that nearly destroyed the nation before it began. We built the representative, a local hero designed to protect his neighbors. But we forgot to ask a simple question: how do these heroes talk to each other? Zoom out, and the illusion breaks. We don't have one united system. We have 13 separate, jealous little kingdoms acting like they own the world. Each colony is a closed loop. They print their own worthless money, pass their own selfish laws, and treat their neighbors like foreign enemies. Power is trapped locally, but the problems are regional. Trade, defense, and movement do not respect the imaginary lines we draw on a map. Try buying bread in New York with money from Connecticut. You can't. Value is trapped by geography, and the economy is grinding to a complete halt. Every time a settler crosses a border, he pays a tax. We fought a revolution for freedom, only to build 13 new cages for ourselves. Bureaucracy explodes. You can't just shake hands anymore. Every transaction requires a treaty. The cost of doing business becomes higher than the profit itself. This is what we call system drift. Without a strong central anchor, the individual parts naturally float away from each other until the structure breaks. Left unchecked, autonomy rots into isolation. The system generates endless no's and arguments, but it produces absolutely zero coordinated signal. Information moves at the speed of a tired horse. Coordination depends entirely on voluntary agreement, which is a polite way of saying it doesn't happen. If Virginia acts today, Massachusetts might act next month. There is no synchronization, just a chaotic mess of delays and missed opportunities. But threats move fast. Financial panic and foreign invasions do not wait for a committee to vote. They strike while we are still arguing. Look at the graph. The lag time between a lethal threat appearing and the system responding is wide enough to kill the entire republic. A criminal can rob a bank in Jersey and simply swim across the river to safety. Local enforcement is powerless against regional crime. Shared resources become battlegrounds. Who fixes the road? Who dredges the harbor? Everyone says not my job, so the infrastructure simply dies. Without coordination, the network effects of society are lost. The bridges break, the roads crumble, and the colonies remain small and weak. Then comes the free rider problem. If defense is a collective good, why should one colony pay for it while the other stays safe for free? If Pennsylvania pays for the army, New Jersey gets protection for $0. The incentives are broken, so everyone decides to pay nothing. Local leaders prioritize local budgets. They will not tax their own people to save a neighbor they don't even like. The system freezes. Paralysis sets in. Everyone waits for the other guy to blink first. The machine stops moving because the gears are grinding against each other. This is the hard limit of representation. It represents the selfish interests of the part, but it is blind to the survival of the whole. Their first solution was voluntary cooperation. Just be nice. Shake hands, form a committee, a system built on polite requests. They tried to run a nation with letters and congresses, a system of polite requests. Please and thank you instead of you must. It works for small issues. It works and the sun is shining and everyone agrees. It feels nice, but it is fragile. When the storm hits, voluntary systems shatter. You cannot ask a system to survive. You must engineer it to survive. To fix is standardization. One currency, one clock, one rulebook. Standardization reduces friction and allows the machine to run. To fix drift, you need standardization. One rule for all parts. It sounds technical, but it is actually political. Standard currency, standard weights, standard laws. This reduces friction, but it removes the uniqueness of the local place. But standards are not neutral. Someone has to set the standard, and someone has to enforce it. That implies a boss. Someone must decide what the standard is, and someone must enforce it. You cannot have a standard without a ruler. Here is the hard truth. Coordination is just a polite word for compliance. To move together, you must surrender your right to move alone. Efficiency demands control. There is no way around it. The technical need for speed creates a political need for centralized power. This creates a hierarchy, a center that commands, and an edge that obeys. A pyramid structure that looks very familiar. The constable stops serving the neighborhood, he serves the protocol. He enforces a rule written 300 miles away by a stranger. The clerk follows the form. No improvisation, just execution. You gain speed, but you lose autonomy, that is the trade. But efficiency acts as a tax on autonomy. To gain speed, you lose choice. The system becomes rigid to become fast. The settler hates this. Why follow a rule that doesn't fit his local reality? Why replace a king in London with a Congress in Philadelphia? A central magnet pulls everything in. Resources, decisions, and power concentrate at the center. It is simply the physics of the system. Power concentrates, not because of evil ambition, but because of physics. It is easier to rule from one chair than from 13. This creates a feedback loop. Control works, so you add more control. Soon, the state is managing everything from roads to schools. If the roads are good, why not manage the schools? If the currency works, why not manage the banks? The grid tightens. The administrative state grows. It is the engine of coordination. But to the common man, it looks like a monster. Dissent is inefficient. Debate slows down the process. So the system begins to favor silence over speech. And suddenly, the new government looks exactly like the old one. The settler raises his tool in resistance. He will not obey. To the settler, a central coordinator looks like a king. He didn't fight a war just to change the address of his oppressor. Resistance begins, not against the results, but against the mechanism. They want the nation, but they do not want the state. They wanted the benefits of a nation without the costs of a state. They wanted to eat the cake and have it too. We are stuck in a trap. You cannot coordinate a system that fundamentally refuses to be controlled. The machine is fighting itself. The system is now at war with itself. The parts are fighting the whole. The body is rejecting the brain. The messenger holds an order worth less than the paper it's written on. If you force it, you break legitimacy. If you force it, you look like a tyrant. If you don't, the system drifts and dies. It is a lose-lose scenario. While we argue about philosophy, the wolves are at the door. Foreign empires see a fractured continent ripe for the taking. British forts still stand on our soil. Spanish ships block the Mississippi. They treat us not as a nation, but as a buffet table. We cannot negotiate. You cannot sign a trade deal with 13 screaming tribes. Our economy is isolated, weak, and bleeding out. Prices spike, markets close, the little guy pays the price for the system's pride. Hunger begins to override patriotism, debt piles up, credit is frozen, the paper money in your pocket is worth less than the wood used to print it. Then, the snapping point, Shays Rebellion. Farmers with pitchforks aren't just prototyping, they are burning courthouses down. They are burning the records of their debts. This isn't a protest. It is a full-blown insurrection against the ruling class. The government calls for help, but no one answers. Massachusetts asks for a federal army, and the Congress has to admit, we don't have one. The local constable is overwhelmed. He represents a law that has no power to back it up. He is just a man with a badge. Anarchy is the shadow of liberty. Without a monopoly on violence, freedom is just another word for the strongest man wins. This is the moment of terror, the realization that a government too weak to oppress you is also too weak to protect you. The founders panic, the experiment is failing. If they don't centralize power immediately, the American project dies in the cradle. They need power, not for glory, but for gravity. They need something heavy enough to hold these spinning pieces together. The call goes out again, not for a treaty, but for a total redesign. They must reconsider the very nature of the map. They must reconsider the borders. Are they walls or just lines? Are we 13 countries or one country with 13 rooms? The question shifts from how do we coordinate to how do we build a roof. The core issue is sovereignty. Who holds the ace card? If the union is sovereign, the state is a subordinate. If the state is sovereign, the union is a joke. The clerk cannot serve to masters. The math does not work. You cannot have two supreme powers in the same space. You cannot have two supreme powers in the same space. They will fight until one consumes the other. It looks like a zero-sum game. Whatever the center gains, the local loses. This tension is the heartbeat of the American struggle. This tension defines the American struggle. The fear of the center versus the fear of the void. Order versus chaos. The people want order, but they do not want a master. It is a knot that cannot be untied. It must be cut. It must be cut. We need a new solution, a system that is neither one nor the other. A new solution is required. Not a single state, not a league of states. A compound republic, a hybrid engine. Not a single state, not a league of states. Something else. Something entirely new in the history of politics. A compound structure, a hybrid engine, a way to be both many and one at the same time. The solution was a stroke of genius. Stop treating power as a solid block. Slice it up, layer it like a shield. Power can be sliced, it can be layered. Local clerks handle local issues, central clerks handle general issues. Local clerks handle local issues, central clerks handle general issues. They occupy the same space, but do different jobs. We call it federalism. It's a mechanism where the center handles the survival of the nation, and the state handles the life of the citizen. This is federalism. It is not an ideal. It is a mechanical compromise, a hack to make the system work. It allows coordination on defense and trade. While keeping control local for daily life, you get the best of both worlds. The constable serves the town, but respects the flag. The control is real, but it is fenced in by a written constitution. The control is real, but it is limited. It is fenced in by a written constitution that says you can go this far, but no further. We built a strong cage for the central government. We gave it claws to fight our enemies, but a leash to protect our rights. Specifically granted powers go up. Everything else stays down at the edge. The system is designed to be inefficient, to protect liberty, and it solves the control problem by reserving all other powers to the edge. The states remain the incubators of democracy. The settler gets his trade market, the merchant gets his currency. They can move freely across a continent. This is a vertical separation of powers. A check on tyranny from above and below, a double shield for the citizen. But this system is complex, is inefficient by design. It requires constant maintenance and endless debate. Friction is no longer a bug, it is a feature. By making power fight power, you prevent any single part from dominating the people. By making power fight power, you prevent any single part from dominating. The gridlock protects you. Coordination is achieved, tyranny is blocked. We have successfully balanced the need for order with the fear of total control. The cost is eternal negotiation. The system never rests, it runs on conflict. But it holds the weight of a continent. It is a machine built to run on conflict. It takes the energy of disagreement and turns it into stability. We have built a structure that can hold the weight of a continent, a frame that can expand without breaking. Coordination needs control. Control needs legitimacy. Federalism is the bridge that allows us to have both without destroying either. But solving the structure is only half the battle. We have built a powerful engine, but there is still one vital component missing. Look at the head of the table, it's empty. A committee cannot lead an army. A Congress cannot negotiate a treaty at 3 a.m. We need a decision maker. We killed the king, but the physics of power demands that we install a boss to run the machine. But how do you create a leader strong enough to rule a continent, but weak enough to obey the law? To coordinate, we must centralize. To centralize, we risk creating the very monster we fought to destroy. Next, the executive paradox.